Well, starting off this hour, Australia is rolling out the red carpet for 200 U.S. Marines that arrived today. They are the first of the 2,500 soldiers expected in Darwin. The troops will be rotating in and out of the region every 6 months or so as part of an agreement by President Obama and Prime Minister Julia Gillard back in November. It's the latest move by the U.S. military to amp up its presence in the region and a major shift on the global geopolitical chessboard. The U.S., of course, has no issues with Australia. President Obama even went as far as to call the country one of America's closest allies. This does, however, demonstrate an ever-increasing American interest in the Pacific, but many are questioning the exact motives behind the move, and none are more critical than China. Dr. Pak Nung-Wan explains why China is concerned about the developments.
I think the situation now has already caught the attention of the Chinese Communist Party in the past 3 months. As far as I have observed some signs of discussion and debate within the Chinese government. The Chinese government has started to gain some consensus, a perception that the U.S. and China relations is being positioned in a zero-sum game. Now, in this regard, it will have some very important implications of the change of Chinese foreign policy after Mr. Xi Jinping is going to step up as the president of China. Now, what would it be? I think is one of the possibilities is for the Chinese government for the future, apart from continue its resource-focused diplomacy and economic-oriented diplomatic and activities in the overseas, the Chinese government is going to consider to take a more assertive and more active position to try to influence the internal politics of other countries, number one. Number two, I think it's also for the Chinese government to consider to increase and to increase its military presence in order to protect the kind of national interest that it has overseas.
So as you heard, China is certainly concerned over today's developments, and this comes as China itself looks to increase its presence in various parts of the Middle East. Currently, the country has its sights set on Pakistan. China already has a port in Gwadar that was built back in 2005. Last year, Pakistan asked China to build a naval base there and maintain a regular presence at the port. Now, China has denied the possibility of a naval base there, but this statement hasn't subdued fears from the U.S. and India, and the strategic importance of this port cannot be underestimated. It is quite close to the Strait of Hormuz, which is where 1/5 of the world's oil travels through, and it was the scene of a tense standoff between American and Iranian naval forces months ago after President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad threatened to shut the waterway down. And today's developments, along with China's interest in the region, shows how the chess pieces of these two global powers are slowly gravitating toward one another. We will continue to follow this story as it expands.